Welcome to NIO Studio. Hello learners, welcome to this course. In this course, we will learn prehistoric art, medieval art, contemporary art and folk and tribal art. Today, we are going to look into the topic Mauryan and post-Mauryan art. In this lesson, we will learn about sculptures of Mauryan and post-Mauryan art. The Mauryan period is marked by the dramatic development of the arts. Emperor Ashoka, the grandson of great Chandragupta Maurya, was a generous patron of arts. Let's look at the objectives we are aiming at. After looking into this lesson, you will be able to describe the development of Mauryan sculpture. You will be able to explain the theme and techniques of Mauryan sculpture. You will be able to explain the format, theme and techniques of Kushana sculpture. You will be able to explain the format and technique of Andhra sculpture, and you will be able to write the origin and evolution of post-Mauryan Gandharan art and differentiate the differences and similarities between Gandhara and Mauryan art along with the Andhra sculptures. The Mauryan capital Pataliputra emerged as the center of power and patronage of the arts, especially architecture and sculpture. Notable examples of architecture and sculpture of this period are the pillars, stupas and cave temples. The humans, animal, bird and botanical forms are remarkable, expressive and beautiful. In these sculptures, anatomy has received a great detailed attention and depictions are realistic, showing the markedly evident rules of ratio, proportions and balance. These sculptures are characterized by their highly polished glossy surfaces. The Mauryan mother goddesses figurine in the stone and terracotta have well-defined forms and detailed ornamentation. These are technically sophisticated artifacts which define the sculptures of this period. The most important and impressive sculptures of this period are the pillars of Ashoka with edicts of the great emperor engraved on them. Here you could see one such pillar from Vaishali. These pillars bear testimony to the gradual development of the artist's original creativity and skills and techniques. The dynamic and very lifelike animal figures carved on the capitals testify to the high level of stone craft. With the decline of Mauryan dynasty, the empire was disintegrated and various other dynasties became powerful in different parts of the country. Here is one such sculpture which shows the detailed carvings from this period. This example of lion capital shows also the technical achievement or the advancement during this period. Shungas, Kanvas and Kushanas ruled north, whereas Satavahanas ruled in Maharashtra region along with Andhra, Telangana and Karnataka. Sculptural activity continued all over India. Sculptures belonging to Buddhism, Jainism and Brahminical Hindu religious were produced. The most notable sculptures are of Buddhist faith in the early historical period. In the 2nd century, Kanishka, the greatest of the Kushana dynasty, was a patron of art and architecture. Kushana Empire stretched from Oxus in modern-day Afghanistan to Varanasi, and from Kashmir to the coast of Gujarat and Malwa. During this phase, Gandhara art had a creative synthesis of Indian and Greek influences. Rooted in the Gandhara region, which is between Pakistan and Afghanistan. Its main themes from Buddhism and the sculptural production can be divided into two distinct stylistic groups. One merged in the Gandhara area and the other in the Gangetic Valley, which was also a continuity of the tradition. The Gandhara school had produced a number of images of Buddha, Bodhisattvas, narratives from the life of Buddha and Jatakas. Here we notice style of Gandhara art was a combination of Greek and Roman traditions. In the Gangetic Valley, Mathura was an important center of art production. The Mathura sculptors left behind a veritable treasure of Hindu, Jain and Buddhist sculptures. We could also observe that skills were picked and further refinement from the sculptors of Sanchi and Bharut had left behind. The various yakshis, shalamanjikas, apsaras and other female figure art carved in high relief on the pillars and the gateways of both Buddhist and Jain monuments show a unique features. This shows the special interest taken in sculpting dynamic, appealing forms and voluptuous portrayal in fine-featured female figures, associating them with flora and fauna. Sculptures of Vishnu, Surya, Kuber, the Nagas, the Yakshas and kings were also produced in Mathura workshops. Here is one such example of Yakshi. Of the Mathura productions, portrait of Kushana kings are also of special interest. The sculptural art of this period marked unique stylistic characteristics, which we will be looking in further. This is one such portrait of kings from this period. And here is the Amravati Stupa. Amravati is located near Guntur in Andhra Pradesh. It has a great Buddhist stupas adorned with sculptures. We could observe matured phase of its activity belongs to this 2nd century, which is noteworthy for its sculptural development. It exhibits a very unique stylistic features in the traditional Indian sculpture, where the figures are elongated and have a considerable bends in the figural form, with cylindrical volumes and tightly composed. The sculpture representing the adoration of the bowl of the Buddha is carved in round medallion relief, which we can see it here, which shows that very compact composition. At another, Ajanta caves have paintings belonging to these three phases, which we have seen earlier in the sessions. The early paintings are found in Ajanta cave number 9 and 10. The Buddha images on the pillars of cave 10 and 9 belong to 3rd century CE, whereas the later phase of Ajanta paintings belongs to 5th century and are found in many caves such as cave number 1, cave number 2, cave number 16 and cave number 17, etc. Here is an example of Didarganj Yaksh or the Chauri bearer, which is called with different names. In the earlier traditions, Yaksha, which is earth spirit, worship was done by Brahmins, Jains and Buddhist traditions. These spirits were the symbols of prosperity and power. The Yakshas were also associated with longevity, immortality and good health. Large statues of earth spirits were placed in an open area. During the Mauryan period, the Yaksha sculptures were carved on all the sides of the architecture, but there is little or no ornamentation except at the front. Characterized by their stout anatomy, the large Mauryan Yakshi sculptures are in a class of their own. The Chanvardharini Yakshi is undoubtedly one of the best specimen of the Mauryan Yakshi sculptures. This sculpture is highly polished and produced in red sandstone, which indeed is a masterpiece of the time. The voluptuous body conforming to traditional standards of beauty, the ornamentation, the drape of her clothes, the mix of vigor and elegance, all point to the painstaking attention to the detail by the artisans. Its polished surface is considered to be a unique feature throughout the world, with a glossy metallic finish on the sandstone. This remarkable piece of Mauryan art is of life size, standing 162 centimeter tall from the ground, which is carved out of a single piece of sandstone. The Chauri bearer Yakshi displays formal proportionate body structure and an intense expressive face. Her heavy bosoms, broad hips, narrow waist and muscular folds on the lower abdomen are delineated. Displays meticulous handling of the medium and naturalistic approach by the artisans. Further, her hair is neatly arranged in a bun shape at the nape. Her jewelry includes a headband, heavy earrings, a choker and a long necklace, bangles and an exquisite 5-strand girdle and thick anklets. Obviously, she could be an attendant of royal person. She is holding a shanwar, which is flying whisk or chauri, in her right hand, and her left arm, which is missing. The mekhala, the skirt, is draped elegantly with folds and pleats. The sheer shawl covering the upper part of her body goes over the left shoulder and flows till her foot. On observing the sculpture, technique used by craftsmen shows firstly a rough figure was chiseled out, then the final shape with a smaller chisel like tools. In the final stage, surface is polished with a stone, achieving a high gloss on the surface. Learners, let's take a small break and get back to the next example.
राष्ट्रीय मुक्त विद्यालय शिक्षा संस्थान NIOS शिक्षा मंत्रालय भारत सरकार के अंतर्गत एक स्वायत्त संस्थान है। NIOS माध्यमिक व उच्चतर माध्यमिक स्तर पर समावेशी और लचीली शिक्षा व व्यावसायिक प्रशिक्षण प्रदान करने के लिए प्रतिबद्ध है। भारत सरकार कौशल विकास से आत्मनिर्भरता को बढ़ावा दे रही है। स्कूली स्तर पर आवश्यकता आधारित व्यावसायिक पाठ्यक्रमों से युवा कुशल होकर निजी व्यवसाय और सेवाओं में जा रहे हैं। NIOS कृषि, पशुपालन, सौंदर्य, इंजीनियरिंग, ICT, योग, आयुर्वेद, प्राकृतिक चिकित्सा, गृह विज्ञान, सिलाई कढ़ाई क्षेत्रों में 100 से भी अधिक व्यावसायिक पाठ्यक्रम संचालित कर रहा है। NIOS अपने अध्ययन केंद्रों यानी AVI के माध्यम से इन पाठ्यक्रमों का संचालन, प्रायोगिक प्रशिक्षण व व्यक्तिगत संपर्क कार्यक्रम यानी PCP का आयोजन करता है। राष्ट्रीय व्यावसायिक शिक्षा एवं प्रशिक्षण परिषद NCVET एक राष्ट्रीय नियामक है। यह प्रशिक्षण प्रणालियों के विकास, गुणात्मक सुधार और विनियमन के लिए जिम्मेदार संस्था है, जो विभिन्न संस्थाओं व मूल्यांकन एजेंसियों को मान्यता प्रदान करता है। रोजगार क्षमता में सुधार व त्वरित विकास के लिए NIOS ने NCVET के साथ हाल ही में एक समझौता ज्ञापन हस्ताक्षरित किया है। अब NIOS के NCVET स्वीकृत पाठ्यक्रमों को दोहरी मान्यता मिलेगी व शिक्षार्थियों को उन्नत प्रमाणन प्राप्त होगा। इससे शिक्षार्थियों में व्यावसायिक पाठ्यक्रमों के प्रति लोकप्रियता बढ़ेगी एवं स्वीकार्यता का विकास होगा। कम शुल्क और दोहरी मान्यता वाले इन पाठ्यक्रमों में प्लम्बिंग सेक्टर से जुड़े ड्रिंकिंग वाटर प्यूरिफायर टेक्नीशियन कोर्स के साथ NIOS ने प्रशिक्षण कार्यक्रम का संचालन प्रारंभ कर दिया है। भविष्य में अन्य पाठ्यक्रमों को इसी क्रम में विकसित कर NIOS आत्मनिर्भर भारत के निर्माण में अपना योगदान देगा। निश्चित ही इससे शिक्षार्थियों को रोजगार व स्वाभिमान मिलेगा। ऊर्जावान युवाओं, NIOS के व्यावसायिक प्रशिक्षण कार्यक्रमों से आज ही जुड़िए। अधिक जानकारी व प्रवेश के लिए लॉग इन करें www.nios.ac.in।
भारतीय अर्थव्यवस्था में कृषि सबसे महत्वपूर्ण क्षेत्र है। जनगणना 2011 के अनुसार ये अनुमान है कि 12 करोड़ से ज्यादा लोग किसानों के रूप में और लगभग 11 करोड़ कृषि कार्यों से जुड़े हैं। इसके अलावा ये भी अनुमान लगाया गया है कि कृषि उद्योग लगभग 21.5 लाख लोगों को रोजगार देता है। अतः NIOS कृषि शिक्षा पर केंद्रित पाठ्यक्रमों द्वारा रोजगार उन्मुख व्यावसायिक शिक्षा और प्रशिक्षण की आवश्यकता की पूर्ति करता है। NIOS कृषि और पशुपालन के प्रमुख क्षेत्रों में कुल 9 आवश्यकता आधारित व्यावसायिक पाठ्यक्रम संचालित करता है। ये व्यावसायिक पाठ्यक्रम दैनिक जीवन से जुड़े हैं और कृषि क्षेत्र में कार्य करने वाले व्यक्तियों के लिए नई दिशा प्रदान करते हैं। ये पाठ्यक्रम 6 माही, 1 वर्षीय एवं 2 वर्षीय हैं। मशरूम उत्पादन, वर्मी कंपोस्टिंग, मधुमक्खी पालन, धान उत्पादन, कुक्कुट पालन एवं बांस उत्पादन 6 माही पाठ्यक्रम है। फूलों की खेती और परिदृश्य बागवानी एवं डेयरी संचालन नए 6 माही पाठ्यक्रम है। पादप सुरक्षा एवं मृदा एवं उर्वरक प्रबंधन 1 वर्षीय पाठ्यक्रम है और मूलभूत ग्रामीण प्रौद्योगिकी में डिप्लोमा 2 वर्षीय पाठ्यक्रम है। NIOS ने कृषि और पशुपालन में माध्यमिक स्तर पर व्यावसायिक शिक्षा शुरू की है, जिसमें शिक्षार्थी 3 पाठ्यक्रम मधुमक्खी पालन, कुक्कुट पालन और धान की खेती के साथ 2 शैक्षणिक विषयों का संयोजन कर माध्यमिक प्रमाण पत्र अर्जित कर सकते हैं। NIOS पाठ्यक्रमों को करने के उपरांत शिक्षार्थी को विभिन्न क्षेत्रों में रोजगार के नए अवसर मिलते हैं। इन पाठ्यक्रमों को करने के उपरांत शिक्षार्थी कृषि या संबंध उद्योगों में उद्यमी बन सकते हैं, मधुमक्खी पालन फार्म में काम कर सकते हैं या स्वतंत्र रूप से मधुमक्खी पालन का काम कर सकते हैं, पोल्ट्री फार्म संबंधित कार्य कर सकते हैं, मशरूम की खेती का काम कर सकते हैं, जैविक खेती का काम कर सकते हैं और कृमि खाद बनाने का भी काम कर सकते हैं। इसके अलावा वे कृषि और पॉली हाउस व पशुपालन इकाइयों जैसे पोल्ट्री, डेयरी, खेती इत्यादि में पर्यवेक्षक के रूप में भी काम कर सकते हैं। हमारे लक्ष्य समूहों में प्रत्येक ग्रामीण, शहरी युवा, युवतियां, महिलाएं एवं हर आयु वर्ग के लोग हैं जो कृषि और संबंध सेवाओं में अपना भविष्य बनाने की इच्छा रखते हैं। NIOS के कृषि पाठ्यक्रम के निर्देश का माध्यम हिंदी और अंग्रेजी भाषा है। क्षेत्रीय मांग के अनुसार हम किताबों को क्षेत्रीय भाषा में अनुवाद भी करते हैं। NIOS के व्यावसायिक पाठ्यक्रमों में प्रवेश साल भर खुला रहता है। प्रवेश पूर्णतः ऑनलाइन है। अधिक जानकारी के लिए आप लॉगिन कर सकते हैं www.voc.nios.ac.in पर। मान्यता प्राप्त करने के लिए संस्थाओं से आवेदन आमंत्रित किए जाते हैं। मान्यता प्रक्रिया, मानदंड और शुल्क आदि की जानकारी के लिए आप स्क्रीन पर लिखे हुए लिंक पर विजिट करें।
Welcome back, learners. Now we will look into the next example, that is Yakshi with a cage. During Kushana period, there were many female figures found, which were designated as Yakshi figures. Mathura sculptors depicted the Yakshi figures with an uninhibited sensuousness to the form, having a earthy representation. The Yakshi figures are found everywhere on the railing pillars of Buddhist stupas, on panels, sometimes also as independent sculptures. These Yakshi sculptures represented as tutelary deities of fertility and erotic art in a happy, playful mood. They are depicted standing on railing pillars, standing back to the Yaksha figures, dancing and playing musical instruments. Their well-endowed bodies adorned with clothes and detailed ornaments, setting the female form to the central focus. Yakshi figures are often shown in Tribhanga postures, which is tilted head, a leg thrust forward and the torso slightly bent on one side. These are carved on pillars. These figures include a curd seller and a woman in distinctly clothed in Persian cloths, holding a lamp. Also, few sculptures expressing customs, showing a Yakshi at the toilet accompanied by a handmaiden holding a casket. Heavily jeweled, cladded in skirt, holding a cage, looking at the parrot perched on her left shoulder, she stands atop the figure of the dwarf figure, with a suggestive smile on her face. Yes, I am talking about the figure which we have seen it previously, that is Yakshi with cage. You could see the complete details in its form. Yakshis are described as protecting female deities and largely portrayed during this period. The sensuous form shows the liveliness in this sculpture, done during the Kushana period. Her voluptuous body and heavy ornamentation, a light volume are important aesthetic characteristics of this period, which is standing in Tribhanga posture. This sensuous yakshi with cage is considered as a remarkable sculpture from this period. The early centuries of Christian era produced a number of idols and images in the Gangetic and Gandhara areas, as well as in central and southern India. Here is the third example, which is standing Buddha. Before the Gandhara art came into existence, the Jataka tales were popular. These, the past stories of Buddha, were engraved on stone, and Buddha was never depicted in the human form. Instead, motifs like elephant, the bull, the horse, the stupa, and chhatra, which is umbrella, symbolized his presence. But by the Kushana period, the Buddha in human form was a favorite theme of the artisans or the sculptors. Both the Gandhara and Mathura schools of Buddhist art produced Buddha statues in large numbers. The figures depicted in the two styles were very different from each other. Buddha figures produced on the available pictorial conventions of Yaksha images. The Gandhara Buddha, on the other hand, had an element of Greco-Roman pictorial conventions. The Parthian and Armenian traditions are mixed with the local traditions, which is known as Gandhara tradition. Images of Buddha and Bodhisattvas are produced in Gandhara and Gangetic areas. The Avalokiteshvara holding a lotus, Manjushri holding a book, and Maitreya holding a picture are also jeweled that they look like royal personages. Some Buddha figures also sport facial hair. The heavy ornamentation of the Gandhara Buddha makes them look more like royal figures and less like ascetics. To convey their spiritual elevation, they have been shown with halos around their head. The halo is a significant contribution to the Gandhara school. The sculptures are distinguishable by the fine carving, heavy ornamentation, symbols, and fine detailing of creases in the robe. The Ajanta caves, on the other hand, have paintings belonging to three phases, which I have mentioned. Now let me repeat it for you. The early paintings are found in Ajanta cave number 9 and 10. Buddha images on the pillars of cave 10 and 9 belong to 3rd century, whereas the later phase of Ajanta paintings belong to the 5th century and are found in many caves such as 1, 2, 16 and 17, etc. The standing figure of Buddha has a detailed halo, which we have seen in the picture. Greek style curly hair with a top knot. He is depicted wearing a robe covering from the neck to the feet. The realistic depiction of the physicality and the sharp folds on the robe are the special features. The long ears, the nimbus behind head, and the benevolence in the facial expression imbue it with spiritual connotations or Mahapurusha Lakshanas. The missing right hand was most probably raised in the Abhaya Mudra. The left arm is slightly bent and the hand holds the garment. The fold of the garment is so prominent that it bears considerable heaviness. Carrying the sculpture is done with a lot of precision. The image is standing on the pedestal. The stone is properly dressed to carve on the figure and then gradually chiseled to make the image. In conclusion, the art of the Mauryan and post-Mauryan periods in ancient India reflects a rich tapestry of culture, religious and regional influences. The Mauryan Empire under the patronage of Ashoka left an incredible mark with its monumental pillars, stupas and sculptures emphasizing Buddhist themes and moral values. The post-Mauryan era witnessed a diversification of artistic styles, including the emergence of distinctive schools such as Mathura and Gandhara, the development of intricate rock-cut architecture, and the creation of masterpieces like Ajanta and Ellora caves. The art of this period not only showcased technical prowess but also conveyed the evolving socio-religious landscape with a synthesis of indigenous traditions and foreign inspirations. Beyond its aesthetic significance, Mauryan and post-Mauryan art played a crucial role in shaping the cultural identity of ancient India and left a lasting legacy that continued to influence artistic expressions in the broader South Asian region. To recollect what Mauryan features are depicted, let's look at main characteristics and few points. Pillars of Ashoka, the Mauryan Empire renowned for the monumental pillars erected by Emperor Ashoka. These pillars were made of polished sandstone and had inscriptions promoting moral values and the principles of dharma. Then we see an example of Sarnath lion capital, the famous lion capital of Sarnath, now the emblem of Republic of India. Originally adorned one of the Ashokan pillars. It features 4 lions standing back to back, symbolizing power, courage, confidence and pride. And comes the stupas. Mauryan architecture prominently features stupas, large hemispherical structures containing relics or objects associated with Buddha. The Great Stupa at Sanchi is a notable example, adorned with intricate carvings and a torana, which is gateway. And we see sculptures from the Mauryan period are characterized by a certain simplicity and naturalism. The human figures in this sculpture are often shown in a meditative or serene state. One such example is Didarganj Yakshi or the Chauri bearer. The Didarganj Yakshi is a famous Mauryan sculpture depicting a female figure. It is a prime example of the mastery of Mauryan sculpture. It captures the grace and beauty of human form. And the polished technique. Mauryan artists utilized polished sandstone in their creations, giving their sculpture a smooth and refined appearance. Then comes the Bharat Stupa, is another significant example of Mauryan art, known for its elaborately carved toranas and friezes depicting scenes from the life of Buddha. And the symbolism to talk about, Mauryan art often incorporated symbolic elements such as the lotus, wheel and tree, representing various aspects of Buddhist philosophy. And now let's see post-Mauryan art. Satavahana's art where the dynasty that succeeded the Mauryan contributed to the development of art in India. Amravati and Nagarjunakonda are notable for their Buddhist sculptures. Their gateways and railings. Here the post-Mauryan period saw the addition of intricately carved gateways and railings around the stupas. These gateways often depicted Jataka tales and serene scenes from the life of Buddha. And the Mathura school of art emerged during this period, known for its sculptures of Buddha and various Hindu deities. The art from Mathura exhibits a blend of indigenous and foreign influences. Gandhara art, influenced by Hellenistic and Roman styles, flourished in the northwest regions. The sculptures from Gandhara depict Buddha in a more humanized form with Greek-inspired drapery and features, which we have seen it in the examples. And the creation of rock-cut caves became more prevalent during this period. Examples include the Kal and Bhaja caves, which served as monastic complexes and featured intricately carved interiors. And nonetheless, Bodhisattva sculptures. The concept of Bodhisattvas gained prominence, and sculptures representing these enlightened beings became a common theme in art during this era. The Ajanta caves, dating back to 2nd century, contain some of the most well-preserved and exquisite examples of Indian rock-cut architecture and murals. And Ellora caves, built over a more extended period, these caves showcase a mix of Hindu, Buddhist and Jain rock-cut temples, providing a glimpse into the religious diversity of ancient India. Kushana dynasty contributed to the spread of Gandhara and Mathura styles. They are known for their royal portraits and development of Buddha image. Yaksha Yakshi figures on the other side, which are representation of great symbolism, with the artist exploring various regional and stylistic variations. The sculptural details of the post-Mauryan sculptures are characterized by detailed ornamentation, facial expressions which are prominent features, and a more pronounced sense of movement. Influences on Southeast Asia. The art of this period had a lasting impact on artistic traditions of this Southeast Asia, and evidenced by the spread of architectural and sculptural styles to regions like Indonesia and Cambodia. Thank you, learners. Hope you have enjoyed the information and details around Mauryan and post-Mauryan art. Keep exploring and be curious. Let's meet again with a new topic.
राष्ट्रीय मुक्त विद्यालय शिक्षा संस्थान NIOS शिक्षा मंत्रालय भारत सरकार के अंतर्गत एक स्वायत्त संस्थान है। NIOS माध्यमिक व उच्चतर माध्यमिक स्तर पर समावेशी और लचीली शिक्षा व व्यावसायिक प्रशिक्षण प्रदान करने के लिए प्रतिबद्ध है। भारत सरकार कौशल विकास से आत्मनिर्भरता को बढ़ावा दे रही है। स्कूली स्तर पर आवश्यकता आधारित व्यावसायिक पाठ्यक्रमों से युवा कुशल होकर निजी व्यवसाय और सेवाओं में जा रहे हैं। NIOS